racing. And we will have a soft turf. Always the risk when you run races here in the Midwest, so and in the South and in the East for that matter. So when we look at those turf conditions, let's remind everyone that even though there'd be a lot of rain being taken on this course, probably about 3 inches over the last 24 hours or so here prior to the Breeders' Cup races. So you're looking at a course that will definitely be soft, but because of that sand bottom, it's not like some of the Midwestern and Eastern tracks and European tracks where that horse's hoof is going to go down several inches into the turf. Here, it's just not the case. It will be soft, and of course, horses that need firm are still not going to like it, but it's not going to be boggy soft as many Europeans would fear with a lot of rain like this. So some of them are finally getting used to the idea that, wait a minute, people are telling us that even with all this rain, it drains so well that it'll be soft, but it won't be boggy soft.
Great. And what horses in particular do we have to watch out for that it could potentially hurt from a soft course?
Yeah, if we look at the bigger races, especially when we get into, let's say, the mile race, horses like Oscar Performance, that horse is going to be really compromised when it comes to soft going. If you look at the horse's history of running on soft or even good turf, that is not his best surface. He likes to hear his hooves rattle under him, and he is going to struggle on this turf course, despite the fact that there's not a lot of pace coming up in that race. So you'd think he would have that advantage. But anytime you have a soft turf, even if you have a pace advantage, that really works against the horse. So that's one. That's in the mile. Let's look at the actual turf race, which is quite interesting. Enable is in that race, of course, and everyone's asking, here's the ARC winner. She's clearly one of the best horses in the world on turf right now. And if you looked at her record, though, she runs on good, soft, boys, girls, doesn't matter. She's just, really a super horse, allegedly coming into this very nicely, lightly race. So she'll be fine on this kind of soft turf. But if you look at some of the American entries where, again, they're probably up against it anyway, but High Happy, Robert Bruce, Sadler's Joy, they would all struggle if the turf comes up anything other than very firm.
Interesting. And any horses that pop out as that it may help them a little bit?
Yeah, if you look at the filly and mare turf race, which is actually really a terrific race, especially because the turf is coming up soft. Azira, I think that's how you pronounced her name, she's looking really tough. Keep in mind, in that race this year, it's 1 3/8 miles, so it's about 1/8 of a mile longer than it typically is. That sort of puts a nod in the favor of the Europeans. Now, filly and mares in the U.S. have held their own against Europeans in this race traditionally. But with that extra 1/8 of a furlong, the fact that it's a soft turf, let's give the nod to the Euros. So Zero is going to come here with a bit of a price because everyone's all over Wild Illusion, and certainly we like Wild Illusion, rated very high. But there's a question about 1.5 miles. Kind of suffers from some of the same dilemmas some of the U.S. horses have here. No question about 1.25 miles. Comes up just a little soft at 1.5 miles. So Azira, with this love for 1.5 miles and soft, kind of takes a nod here at a big price. And then there's a horse who everyone's saying is just, maybe a little bit outclassed here, but Princess, I think it's Yiza, is one that, more of a Group 3 type. But boy, 1.5 miles, soft turf, heavy turf, she just relishes it. So that could move her up alone. And at 20-1, 30-1, worth taking a shot.
Yeah, maybe a nice long shot. Well, that's some great advice on how to play the turf course and the off conditions. And, of course, more available details on every horse in the Super Screener. So looking forward to that.
And we should mention that in the Super Screener, we did handicap this, and we did take into consideration, and we mentioned it throughout each horse-by-horse analysis, who likes firm, who likes soft. So all of that was taken into consideration. The assumption was a soft turf come the Breeders' Cup weekend.